Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be installing a Bazzaz ZFI fuel control module onto the Ninja 650. And as you can see, I've got the tank painted and finished and remounted. Got a little bit more buff work to do, but we're getting really close to having that completed. So when I go through the procedure, we're going to again remove the tank and do the install for this unit. So let's get jumping on it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the two 10mm bolts holding the tank on. This year model Ninja 650, it's very easy to remove the tank. This is 2009 for you guys that have not been tuned into the series. And if this is your first time watching the series, please hit that like and subscribe. We've got some cool stuff going to be happening now that we have the broken mechanical components repaired and replaced. We're going to be doing some of the fun tuning and aftermarket styling on this bike. So two 10mm bolts, take them out. The seat latch comes with it. I'll lay that there. Now underneath the tank you're going to have a fuel line, two electrical connectors, and one vent hose. Everything's already disconnected here. I simply placed the tank on to show the removal. Once you have the two bolts loosened up, pick it up and you will see that there is a fuel line connector, and you will have plenty of slack to lift the tank to do this, so do not worry. But you will have the fuel pump in place. There's a fuel connector under here with a red clip. You simply pull the red clip back and then pop the gas line off. You will drip a few drops of fuel, but it will not spill out all over the place, so don't worry about that. Next, you're going to have a 3-pin connector that goes to the fuel pump. Unplug that, and then you will have a 2-pin connector that goes to the fuel level sensor, which is actually right here. You unplug these two, unplug the fuel pump, take the fuel line off, and then there will also be a vent hose that runs about midway from the tank down along the sprocket cover. So just pull that thing straight away, and then you simply lift up on the rear of the tank and then move the tank toward the rear of the bike. For the newer model Ninja 650 and for the Z650, reference this video here where I remove the tank and do a block off on the new 2017 Kawasaki Z650. That'll show you how to get the airbox and everything off that year model. Okay, once the tank is removed, there is going to be an air temp sensor on the side of the airbox. You want to unplug that one. Press down on the rear of the connector and wiggle it off toward the right hand side of the bike. Now on the front you'll have the pair valve. That is a blue connector and it also comes right off. There will be an air line. You can simply unplug it from the flap on the back of the airbox where you access the throttle bodies, and for the 4 screws to completely remove the airbox. For this you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. Remove the 4 screws, and then you remove the airbox cover. Now once you have that cover off, you need to grab either 2 clean rags or 2 paper towels, and we want to stuff them down inside of the throttle bodies. We just don't want to accidentally drop any of the 4 screws that we're getting ready to remove down into that where the injectors are. Now once you have 2 rags down into the throttle body openings, and you'll see where the risers come up. Now once you have the risers blocked off, you want to use a 5mm Allen wrench or a T-handle, something that'll reach down in, and there's 4 screws right in between the 2 sets of risers, and we just want to loosen those up. Reach down in there and take them out. Okay, now once you have those 4 screws out, there is also a breather hose attached to the bottom of the airbox directly under the rear. and that is coming out of the gearbox. So you want to make sure that your little spring clamp is loose and pulled up. And once that is, you can pull the entire airbox off of the bike. Just wiggle it back and forth. And then work it around your wiring harness. And there it is. And also there's an oil tube which just came off. But that simply just pushes right back on. Okay, well, let's unbox this Bazzaz and see what's inside. Now, I've only removed the plastic and made sure all the components were here. I got super lucky finding this thing. I got it on clearance. Brand new, factory sealed in the box for less than half of what it normally costs. Absolutely couldn't pass up that deal. So we have one Bazzaz ZFI control module. This will mount in the rear of the bike near the ECU. So we'll just lay that there for now. And we also have the wiring harness. Now this may look daunting to a lot of folks, but believe me, it is extremely simple. I mean, even Bazzaz says that this thing is like a 2 out of 5 on difficulty, so it's not that bad. Now also inside of this, you will see that there are a couple Scotch lock crimp-on tabs. That is for one, to get a switched ignition source, which it recommends coming off of the power feed to the rear taillight assembly, I believe. And the other one that we clip onto will be the neutral safety switch, which is down here behind this sprocket cover. So everything is pretty much pre-cut to length. It's really easy to route, give you a good idea of where everything is. Alright, so Bazzaz recommends running the harness out this way. We're just going to let the rear plastics down just enough to give us some slack. Okay. Well, since we've got it that far down, I'm going to push the main connector up through here. Okay, it looks like they basically just want you to run it with the existing light harness, the rear lighting. So no big deal there. So we're just going to pass it up under this way. There's a whole bunch of connectors here. Just take your time and work all these little connectors up through here. Okay, so we have the Bazzaz harness routed through. We're going to leave everything loose for now. And we're going to look for all the connectors that we need to make. Now, your crank position sensor is right here. It's this cable right here. So we're just going to tilt the fuel line out of the way. And you'll see it's a 3-wire connector. So we're just going to see if we can get a firm grasp on it to unplug. There we go. Press down right there. Press and then pull. These two connectors here, you will plug in this one. Plugs back in to the ECU female harness, and then the harness from the Bazzaz is going to plug into the actual crank position sensor. Okay, and you'll hear a nice little firm click. Okay, this triangular looking one, that is most likely our speed sensor, and that is right here. This is the speed sensor. Okay. And if you can see the dirt and buildup around these, making it a little bit more difficult to unplug. So if you have a newer bike, you're probably not going to have those issues, but you'll see the matching connectors. Plug that to that. Let's twist it around here. Line it up. Okay, we have two good firm snaps. The injectors are here. You have left and right, and they should be marked left and right. So we will unplug and do one at a time. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Slip joint pliers are great for doing this. You just want to make sure they're not wider than the actual release. Okay, so that was the left one. And it just kind of slid in. That'll keep these things watertight. We definitely do not want to compromise that. So again, we're going to take the slip joint, press and pull. Comes right off. So we'll plug our Bazzaz harness in, nice firm click. And now we're going to plug this back on to the injector. Nice firm click. Okay, now is for the throttle position sensor and the neutral safety switch. All right, now here's your throttle position sensor. So we're going to route our neutral switch down through the side along with our other two wires. I'm going to pull them out right there. All right. So this switch, make sure we're not missing any weather protective boots. We're going to slide it. And we got a firm snap there. And we're going to connect this one to the factory. Good firm snap. All right. Okay, so this little wire right here goes to our neutral safety switch, or our neutral switch gear selector. And this is going to tell the Bazzaz what gear we're actually in. And it is this one little connector. This is the speed sensor. Tells your speedometer how fast you're going. But this little single wire connector right here tells you when the bike's in neutral. So we're just going to pop it off. Comes right off. And we have a Scotch lock connector that we're going to use. I'll pull a little slack down through here. So in the Bazzaz kit, they give you several of these little Scotch lock connectors. Okay, so we want to place the wire right here into the jaws. And then we're going to close it. Now I also like to use my little pliers for that, my slip joints, to get a nice good snap and compression. Now also, anytime I use Scotch locks, I like to make double damn sure I have a connection. So I'm going to get my meter and we're going to read continuity from the pin here to the pin on the inside and make sure it rings out. Alright, so I'm going to touch my leads together. I have continuity, meter's working. So we're going to stick one lead in there, making sure to hold it firmly that we have connection. And of course I can't get that in there. Let's see, but I can get it from the back of this. So we're going to plug it together. Yeah. Make sure you get a good firm connection. And it doesn't matter which lead goes where. We're just reading continuity. Okay. I have continuity. That means we do have a good connection. So once you've achieved that, we're going to snap the neutral selector switch back on, making sure it's firm. And then we're going to tuck all these wires back out of the way. Basically is all the connections. Now we just need to neaten everything up going back to where we're going to mount our Bazzaz. That leaves us with the main Bazzaz connector. Okay, so that's the main Bazzaz connector, and then we have this that goes to a switched power source. Right here, it's like black with a yellow stripe. That is your system ground. Then a blue, and then the red. The red is the one we want right there. Same as before, we're going to crimp our Scotch lock, but we need to try to do it where it's angled inward if we can, or at least downward. Let's do downward. My wonderful little pliers. Ta-da! And we're going to plug our Bazzaz power harness into there. Okay, so we don't have the battery in, so we're not going to connect the ground just yet, but it will go directly to the battery post. The Bazzaz connector harness here. Let's see. Let me open this thing up and see if we can find a good spot for it. And they give you a little piece of Velcro to go on, so I believe I will use that. Let's actually snap that thing in. Clean this surface real quick. Some of my paint prep cleaner. If that doesn't make it stick, nothing will. Yeah, we're just going to stick it right on top of the motorcycle emissions warning label. It seems like a good place for a fuel controller. A track-only fuel controller now. Don't be using this out on the open road, guys. It's illegal. Especially in California. So for any of you Californians watching wanting to do this, you just can't. At all. It's not allowed. There we go. Bazzaz ZFI. And what you can do is you can actually keep a stock map set with the... you can set a different map. If you pull this out, let that one be the stock with this removed, and then do your custom map with the loop in. That way if you're out riding around anywhere and you start having weird issues, you can just pull that connector out and go back to a default map. But guys, this is not it. That's not all. So the 2009 Kawasaki Ninja does not have an O2 sensor. It uses what they call a closed loop fuel injection system. It does not monitor the exhaust air to fuel ratio to change the way it's running. So I have an exhaust, an aftermarket exhaust, and it comes with a bung for an 18mm O2 sensor because the Euro spec of the same year model has to have an O2 sensor. Well, what can we do with that? We're going to put a Bazzaz auto fuel management O2 sensor and auto programmer onto the ZFI. So now we will not have to go and do a dyno tune. We're going to do a tune ourselves. We'll be able to plug this in to the port on the exhaust that's already there. And then this just simply plugs in right here where this little capped off module is. And it is tiny. Little tiny module will piggyback right on top of this. And we're done. That's it. So I haven't even opened this yet. So basically, because I got the ZFI for so freaking cheap, I went ahead and got this module as well. So we could do all of our own tuning. Now originally, for you guys that have been keeping up with this channel since the Z650, you know, the Bazzaz was originally what I was looking for my fuel management. And then the guys at Superbike Unlimited put me on to Rapid Bike, which Rapid Bike is awesome. It still does far above and beyond what Bazzaz does with ignition timing, cutting back engine braking, all kind of craziness that you can do with a Rapid Bike system. You can't quite do that with this. Now, there is another Bazzaz module that you can. You're going to spend a lot more money for it. But being able to set up and tune on my own just like the Rapid bike is going to be friggin' awesome. You ride around, it data logs and records everything. You get back, you review the changes. If you like it, you can apply it. It updates your map. You do some more riding. And this thing just keeps fine-tuning. But it doesn't automatically change anything without your permission. So I like that. That way, if while you're riding around, you get some crazy-ass spike on what it wants to change, you don't have to accept it. So it's going to be fun hooking my laptop up to this thing after my weekend ride, seeing how elevation affects the fuel mapping and all. I mean, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, we're going to be doing videos and talking about it and showing the program and learning how to use it. It's going to be fun, guys. Keep in check with the channel. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the feedback you guys have left me throughout all the different videos and the series on this and everything else on the channel. You know, I try to get back to all the people that ask non-repetitive questions. A lot of the information that gets asked from some guys, it's in the videos. You're commenting a question that I answer in the videos. I try to be as thorough as possible when I do these. So if there's ever a question that comes up, please go back and watch the video, because more than likely I did answer it. And if I didn't, please do ask the question, because I will answer it. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Tune in next time. Hit that like and subscribe for all you new guys, along with the notification bell. You'll get updates whenever I upload a new video. But ride safe, and we'll see you next time.